Welcome back, everybody. We're here with Joe Musgrove. If you have a question for Joe, please use the group chat feature. We'll go ahead and get started with Andy Halbrin.
Joe, congratulations. How does it feel not only for you and your career, but also to get the first one in Padres history?
Yeah, it feels really good to be in a Padres uniform when I did it. That was my first no-hitter I've ever thrown in my life. So pretty crazy that it comes on the big league stage and I'm in a Padres uniform.
When did you know that, you had the chance to do it? And did you get any extra nerves? You look so locked in. Did you get any extra nerves later in the later innings?
No, I mean, like we talked about last week, I've internalized a lot of my thoughts and stuff, and I'm making the challenge about me against myself. So being able to keep myself in check every inning and focus on one pitch at a time. And that's something that Larry, kept bringing up to me as we got into the seventh inning on was, don't try to do more, just execute one pitch at a time. And like you've been doing all game. I think I looked up in the sixth inning because I'd only thrown 6 innings my last couple starts. Actually, I threw 5 in my last spring start, 6 in my first start of the season. So as that 6th inning came around, I thought my pitch count was a lot higher than it was, and I knew I had no hits, but I figured to get 6, 7, 8, and 9 innings in, I was going to be way too high in the pitch count. So I was kind of at peace with the idea that I would go 6, 7, shutout innings, hitless, and then hand it over to the pen and see if they could finish it off. And I looked up at the scoreboard to see what pitch count was, and I was at like 67, and I was like, oh, we got some room to work with. So, and in Vic, I can't say enough about Vic. He's just so good behind the dish. And I think what I was so, impressed with was his feel for the hitters and what they were going to do. It was like, he seemed like he knew exactly when they were swinging, when they weren't swinging, which guys we needed to throw chase pitches at 0-0 and which guys we can go in the zone at 0-0 to try to get control of the count. On multiple occasions, he told me in between innings that, this guy coming up here, he was like a scientist. He was like calculating how many guys until we get to the top of the order, so that by the 6th, 7th inning, it would be, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, like just doing all the math and figuring out which guys we need to, be more aggressive with fastballs and sinkers or cutters to get, quick one pitch outs to try to save a few pitches here and there. He just did such a good job back there, and it made my job so easy just to, let him call the game and just try to execute pitches.
Could Jace have taken you out if you tried?
No, I wasn't coming out of that game. And I knew if once I gave up the hit, I expected that, that would be my night and I'd be all right with that. But I was just so locked in. I had no intention of coming out of that game.
Last one from me, just to be in a Padres uniform doing that, and there were some Padres fans in the stands, to get that reaction from your teammates. And I don't even know if you've looked at your phone, what kind of reaction you've gotten from people, but like, how did that feel? Like you're with a new team, it's your hometown team. Just how did that feel?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it just feels so good to show these guys that I'm here to compete, and that, with all the distractions that there can be playing at home and living in your own city, I'm ready to play. And with those guys behind you, I mean, they do such a good job of getting you an early lead and allowing you to go out there and just be aggressive in the zone and attack. And without knocking them, I mean, it was kind of nice that we were going 1, 2, 3 offensively, so I can get back out there and stay fresh. Because had those innings gotten a little longer, who knows how it would have turned out. But I was able to get up and get going, with short half innings, so got me an early lead, and then we just rode it out to the end. So, but it feels incredible, The city of San Diego showed me so much love even before I came to the Padres. Just a San Diego kid that made it to the big leagues. So it feels even better to be able to do it in the Padres uniform and selfishly be able to do it for my city and have everyone know that the kid from Grossmont High threw the first no-hitter.
Thanks so much, Joe. Congrats.
Thank you.
We'll go to Marty Caswell.
Hi, Joe. Congrats. What else have you scripted for your San Diego storybook homecoming?
I don't know. Hopefully an all-star game. Hopefully a first World Series ring. There's a lot of things I want to work on, but right now I'm exhausted. All I can think about is getting some recovery and seeing how I feel tomorrow. I threw a lot of breaking balls tonight. I don't think I threw a single fastball. I threw a couple cutters in the last 2 or 3 innings, but we were just going to empty the tank out with my best stuff, and the slider was the go-to weapon there. So I'm pretty tired, but we want to be strong throughout the year. This is a cool, benchmark and a cool, accomplishment for me. But we're 2 weeks into the season, so we're not even 2 weeks into the season. So come a week or two, this is going to be old news, and people are only going to like you for what you're doing currently. So I got to get back, get some rest, enjoy tonight, and celebrate with my family and my teammates, and then get ready to get back to work tomorrow.
I don't know if it's ever going to be old news when the Padres are the last team to get the no-hitter. It's been 8,000 games and fans have been waiting. But I mean, there's been so many Padres who have almost had that no-hitter. Is there one that you recall watching?
No, I don't remember. I know there was one recently, right? Within the last couple of years that got pretty close.
Maybe Chris Young. Maybe it's a GM across the way from you tonight. I don't know.
I'm not positive, but yeah, I don't know. There's so much of this, like so many of these questions, I'm gonna have better answers for you tomorrow. I'm still like, like my teammates, I feel like are more excited than I am right now. I'm just coming down off that high and physically and mentally exhausted, so I'm not even able to really put my thoughts together that well.
Are you superstitious? Can you kind of take us inside that dugout? Did you talk to any of your teammates outside of Caratini?
Yeah, I mean, I kept it as normal as I could throughout the game. I'm not very superstitious. I have routines for sure, but I always have one of my little superstitions, I guess, or part of my routine is, I drink a lot of water. I think I went through 11 or 12 water bottles tonight, and I always keep them empty ones next to me so I can kind of keep track of how many I'm drinking throughout the game. And I had to piss so bad in like the 4th or 5th inning, but I couldn't. That was the one thing I didn't want to break, like the superstition of it didn't want me to have to go, use the bathroom in the middle of the start. But I chew gum between innings, one just to keep getting some like moisture in my mouth, and just kind of keep giving me something busy to do in between innings. But I always, before every start, I'll line up 9 pieces of bubble gum on my towel, and every half inning I'll come in and I'll eat a piece, and then I'll spit it out as I'm going out of the dugout. And I kind of like that. So I try not to look at the scoreboard as much as I can. So I kind of mark my innings by the little pile of gum that I spit out right there. And tonight's the first night that I got to chew all 9 pieces. So.
What do you do with a baseball? And just if you can detail, what does this mean to you personally?
They took everything from me. They took my glove, my cleats, my hat, my ball. I think they're probably, authenticating it, and some of it will go off. But I'd like to keep some of those things. I don't remember what was the second part of your question.
What does this mean to you personally? I know from like a team standpoint, like it's a game, but what does it mean to you from a personal standpoint?
It's super special. I mean, I've always wanted to throw a no-hitter. I never even threw one in high school, Little League. All throughout the minor leagues, I've come close, but I don't think anything past the 6 or 7. So it feels really good to do that, but I think more so like prove to yourself that you're capable of doing it. It's always been a goal of mine to go 9 innings and throw a shutout or a complete game. Watching Lance Lynn do it last night, I watched Jameson Tyone do it multiple times when I was in Pittsburgh. That's just an accomplishment to be able to take the ball and end the game, start the game and end it. That's a big accomplishment for me. And, to have the fact of no hits on top of that is extremely special.
Thank you.
Thanks. Go to Todd Strain.
Hey, Joe, I wonder if you could just elaborate on the fact, 53 years, over 8,200 games. You grew up in San Diego. Now Joe Musgrove is the first pitcher in Padre history to throw a no-hitter. What does that mean to you as a San Diego kid when you look back on all those Padre teams you grew up watching? What does it mean to have your name in the record books?
Yeah, it's incredible. It's cool. Like you said, it's cool to know that I'll always be recognized as the first one to do it. I think a no-hitter, regardless of where you're playing, is really special. But it almost seems like this was meant to be, to come over and have a good start to the season in my first outing, and do it in my second one to get the no-hitter. It's so part of it doesn't seem like it's real. I feel like it was meant to be, but it hasn't really all set in yet.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it, man.
Go to Kevin Acey.
So I need to clarify, did you hold it for 5 innings?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's the accomplishment of the night, man. You just don't go in the middle of a game.
Couldn't do it, man. And I know Blake Snell sat on that rail the whole game and did not move. I watched him the whole game because I thought about it in like the 8th inning. I was just kind of looking around, trying to like keep my mind busy and not think about the fact that I hadn't given up a hit. And I saw Blake sitting there in the same position with his feet on the rail still. And I was like, I wonder if he's moved it all today. And then after the game in the shower, he was like, dude, I didn't move that whole game. He's like, in the 4th or 5th, we were about to get up and I grabbed Morihone and pulled him back down. But it's cool, man. And just to feel how excited my teammates are and how happy they are for me is a really good feeling.
what do you think about on the bench? I mean, you're alone for most of it. What are you thinking about as the innings wear on?
Well, I try to review like the inning that we just, had. For the first, minute or so when I walk in the dugout, I'll get my gum, have some water, throw my towel on, and then I like to just sit there and just breathe and just try to calm it, get my heart rate down as fast as I can, and just let my mind relax. I'm so focused out there, and you only have so much bandwidth out there to really dial it in a game. So, trying to take my mind off of that and just relax a little bit. I have no problem turning it on, man. I can hit a switch and get going. So, up until we get about 2 outs, I'm just kind of relaxing. I'll go over a couple at bats that we just had, or I'll, have some internal talk about where I need to be mentally. And then with 2 outs, me and Vic will get together and we'll talk about, the first 3 guys we're facing that inning and how we want to start them off, what we started them off with last time. Whether we think they're going to be aggressive. If the inning goes long, we have a long half inning, they might come out more aggressive. If it's a quick inning, there's all different kinds of things that we're talking about there. But for the most part, it's just getting my heart rate down and giving myself a chance to catch my breath, and then, regrouping with 2 outs and getting ready for the next inning.
And nothing different tonight. I mean, you were just that locked in. Nothing different tonight.
Same routine, man.
You talked to your parents yet?
No, I haven't looked at my phone yet. I'm sure it's pretty busy.
Thanks, man.
We'll go to Manolo Rodriguez.
Yes, you talked about Vic, the scientist, while in the game, but how was that engagement? How did you guys feel, or have you guys talked after the game? What did he say? What did you say to him? Just take us through that.
I haven't really gotten a chance to talk to him much. I mean, got mauled on the field. He was the first one to embrace me. And it just felt good, man. I know he wanted that as bad as I did. But there was points in the game where, and very few times, but there was times where he called a pitch and we have a signal for me to switch locations. So the same pitch, but a different side of the plate. If he calls it away and I want it in, I have a signal I can give him to where we don't have to put any more signs down. It just means move to the other side of the plate. And, he kind of looked hesitant and didn't want to go there. So I stepped off and I said, yeah, you call it, whatever you feel is right, I'll throw. And the 2-3 times we did it tonight, it worked out well. So, we're going to talk a ton, tomorrow, I'm sure, and tonight, but, this is I think it's his second one. I know he caught one I think he caught Alec Mills in Chicago. So he's experienced it before, and he did a real good job, and everyone in the dugout really did a good job of just being normal, keeping the energy the same, not building it up and not making it real tense in there. Just keeping a good flow to the game, and Vic was incredible.
So we keeping the Vic, the scientist?
Yes.
Thank you.
We got time for a couple more, then we got to get Joe out of here. We'll go to Troy Hirsch.
Hey, Joe, congratulations on the no-hitter. Did you feel like in warmups that you had stuff that maybe this could be a special night for you?
No, not at all. Me and Vic were talking on the way in. I had a real tight back in warmups and even into the first inning or two. I felt like I had a real hard time like getting my good separation, and I feel like I was pulling off a lot of pitches with my front side, and even all the way through like probably the 6th inning, I was still a little bit inconsistent with my delivery. I think I was just kind of willing my way through those at bats. A lot of trust in Vic, and then just will. Whatever I could do to get the pitch to the spot I needed. So I felt like I changed my delivery at one point, just because I felt like I was able to get the ball consistently to spots with that little adjustment. So, no, by no means was it a day where I felt like I had stuff to go that long and put on a performance like I did. But once you get into that 6th, 7th, and there's no hits on there, you can kind of tap into that extra little bit that's in the tank and try to finish it off.
And Joe, it looked like every pitch you threw went exactly where you wanted it to go, especially in the late innings. Did you feel like every pitch I'm throwing is going exactly how I want it to?
Yeah, for sure. In the last like probably 3 innings, definitely did. And I think that was just that hyper focus, knowing what's on the line and what I had a chance to do. But not so much early on. I felt like I couldn't find my curveball. I couldn't get it on the side of the plate that I wanted to. My cutter was leaking over. We threw a lot of backdoor cutters last week and had success with it, and we saw some opportunities to do it here. And my backdoor cutter was leaking over the plate quite often. I had some real good changeups. The slider felt good. but the curveball and the cutter backdoor weren't really working for me early on. We were getting decent results because we were using them in the right situations, but I found something in the 7th inning with the curveball, and I felt like my last 2-3 innings with the curveball were really, really sharp, and that ultimately helped me get through those last couple innings.
And then in the last couple innings, there were some hard hit balls hit at Jurickson Profar, Cronenworth, Will Myers out there. Was there a hit or a contact that you thought, okay, that was it, it's over?
Every one of them, man. I thought the line just sometimes, you don't know. I'm usually pretty good at figuring at peeking behind me and seeing where the guys are, like whether we're in shift or not, knowing that if there's a comebacker hit to me, if it's to my right or left, like which guy or which side is there a player on where I don't need to like reach and stab for it and take a chance at deflecting it, like knowing where we're going to have a guy behind me. But I got so locked in that I wasn't really checking, and I gave up a line drive. I think the Trevino one that went to second base, I thought that might have been it, but sure enough, I had a guy there.
And just finally, some people say no hitters, you have to have some luck involved, but this one didn't seem like there was any spectacular plays or almost any luck involved. Did you see any luck involved at all in this one?
Yeah, I hit Gallo in the knee with a cutter, and maybe if I didn't hit him, he might have gotten a base hit. So saved a couple pitches and didn't give up a no-no.
That's a good way to look at it, Joe. Congratulations. Thank you, buddy.
Thanks.
And AJ Casco.
Joe, what did you think of the defense behind you tonight, particularly Kim's backhand play in one of the
big backhand play, I think out of 4th inning early on in the game. Yeah, that was huge. I mean, that was the one where I thought that's a tough play. There was a fly ball that Cronenworth was like leaking out into deep right field. I thought that one might have had a chance to drop. It's just solid, but I mean, that's it, man. I rely on my defense a lot and I trust them a lot. So, I'm always giving heads up when I'm throwing pitches that are, that produce a lot of ground balls to certain sides of the field. I try to, give those guys a heads up so they're ready for it. But we got a good defense, man. And that's what allows me to have success like I've had the last 2 starts is, not being afraid to be in the zone and challenging hitters and making them swing the bat, knowing that I got a good defense behind me. So
We'll finish up with Annie Halper.
What do you think this will mean for your dad?
Oh, he's probably thrilled. My whole family's probably thrilled. Me and my dad had a lot of memories. He's the one that, instilled the love of the game in me at a real young age. He's probably in tears, they all probably are. He's been a Padre fan since the Padres first came into the league. So, he's been there from the start, and I know he's extremely excited that I'm on the Padres now, and he can, we can finally share that same love that we grew up watching together, from a little bit different perspective.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody. Joe, thank you very much.
Thanks,
Congratulations. And we'll see everybody.
Congratulations, Joe.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Congrats.